All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. My name is Joshua Owoyemi, and I am the founder at BDOT. I'm also the lead faculty here. Today, we want to introduce to you the about opportunities and benefits for data analysts. And I have a lot of people here who are also going to be able to help in the same regard. I would introduce them in due time. Um, but first, let me introduce to you what our platform is about and what we are doing, and also introduce to you some of the research that we've done for you people who are interested in data analysis and the opportunities that you can actually get by transitioning, or if you're transitioning into data analysis, or if you want to be a data analyst. You want to learn from a French, we have some interesting data to share with you. Okay. So first, you might be asking yourself, what is BDOT about? So our platform is for professional guidance and learning. Our major goal is to guide people to learn, to transition into a new career, or to learn new skills that are useful for their professional career. So that is why we are heavy on making use of faculty members. Faculty members are basically experts. They are not just teachers. Yeah, I know many other platforms. They are people who actually teach, teach these things, and they are very good at it. But we decided to say, okay, if you're going to learn something about data analysis, why not learn it directly from a data analyst, somebody who is using that skill on a daily basis? I think that would give us you a better chance of knowing exactly what you need to know about that field. And so we are focusing more on, introducing you to people who have the skill, or who are already using the skill that you want to learn. So I'll introduce them more later. And like I said, we want to guide you to learn skills that are relevant for your goals. And by doing so, we connect you with the experts in that field. So if you're learning data analysis, we connect you with people who are already data analysts and who are experts in that field in different ways. Okay. So that is one major problem we're solving. And you will agree with me that if you are starting, or if you're trying to learn a skill, there is um, so many information out there. As a matter of fact, you don't actually need this platform to learn a new skill. You can go on YouTube and so many free resources, read about it by yourself. But it's very important that you get guidance, because if you don't have somebody to guide you, to point you in the right direction, you might be wasting a lot of time in learning the things that are not very relevant. So this is why we think we are very important for you. And so we are introducing programs. And what are programs? Group programs are basically goal oriented, are specifically designed for a particular skill set. And it's a collection of courses, live classes, and resources that we have put together and to be delivered by experts in that field. So it's not just courses that are there for you to go and watch by yourself, and those are good and those have their own places, but we want you to have direct contact with the experts. We want you to relate with them personally, and we want you to be able to ask them questions, and they'll be able to answer your questions and help you to solve the issues that you have. So this is one major you know thing that we are doing in programs. And through that, also, you can get mentorship from our experts and from our faculty members. So today we're focusing on a data analyst program. There are other programs that we are doing on the platform, but I'm sure you're only interested in data analyst program for today. So let's focus on that. Um, the major goal for this data analyst program is to impact skills that to prepare you for an entry level data analyst role. So if you are transitioning into a new, if you're transitioning, maybe you're already working before and you want to do data analysis because you think it's a better um, career for you, we are here to show you the exact things, the skills, the exact skills that you need in order for you to enter into that role as a data analyst. And just to define for you, you might have questions later. And please, if you have questions, let me just say right now, drop them in the chat. And there will also be time at the end of the webinar where you can also ask questions to the faculty members, and they will be happy to answer your questions. Any question at all about data analysis, even if they are technical questions, please, you are free to ask them, and I'm sure they'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, so data analysts is a person whose job is to gather and interpret data in order to solve specific problem. And this is basically our focus. And in order to do this justifiably, we have done some research to let you know that we are actually focused on what exactly you need. You know, the program is going to be the program is the programs that we're introducing are going to be go over several weeks, and we're going to focus on things that are necessary for you to get an entry level job. So in order to do that, we also need to learn about what are the opportunities out there. Okay, so we've done some research, and we decided to look at the top 20 companies in Nigeria and top 20 companies in US and in Canada who are like looking for data analysts. And I'm not sure if you can see this clearly, but you can see most of the companies are in the information sector. We also have companies that are in the education, and in some companies that are in banking. So the top here is the Teza Business Solutions, which is, I think they're in the financial area. There's Reliance Tech, Reliance Health, which is in the health space, and there's Dangote, which is in the consumer products. So as you can see, data analysis cuts across many industries. And no matter the industry that you are interested in, no matter industry that you are in right now, there is a place and there is an opportunity for data analysis or data analysts in those companies. You know, so a lot of people see data analysis as maybe only in maybe financial industry or things like that. As a matter of fact, you see that our faculty members today, they are from different industries. For me, I'm in my industry currently is in pharmaceuticals. I use my skill for drug discovery, drug related purposes. Some other faculty members are also in health, in banking, and in just pure research and mathematics. So there are many areas where data analysis can be applied. And if you go outside the country, you begin to see that you need more data analysts in maybe consumer products also here, financial. This is a bank. Citigroup also is a bank. You can see Canadian Tire Corporation, which is a product company. Deloitte here is I think it's a consulting company, and so you know that the industry is very widespread. And you can also see health, you see business, and a lot. So, and you can also see Amazon Web Services here, which is an internet company, KPMG Canada, Lensoft LifeWorks. So, as a matter of fact, data analysis cuts across many industries. And when it comes to like the top responsibilities for a data analyst, what are the top responsibilities? And we also looked at job posts in Nigeria here and job posts in US and in Canada, Nigeria, US, and Canada combined. And you can begin to see the pattern. And if that these are the things that defines the kind of thing that you will be responsible to do as a data analyst. Number one is develop and implement databases. data collection systems. So basically, a lot of all companies, not just a lot of companies, all companies generate data. The difference is how they handle the data. In a school, in a secondary school, they generate data every day. When the teacher marks the script, that is a data that is being generated. The student results, payments from school fees payments, payroll, and all those things. Those are all the data that's been generated. And every industry or every office or every company has this. You as a data analyst, you are the one that would develop and implement the database that will enable the collection and the management of that data. And your second work is to identify, analyze, and interpret trends or complex patterns in your data set. So a data analyst is very useful in today's um, industry because a lot of companies want to look forward into the future and say, what is our trend? Um, what are the things that we can do now to maximize our profit in the future? Without data, without past data, and without somebody who can understand this data and look at the trend and kind of look at the patterns in this data, there is no way they can uncover this insight. So you as a data analyst, this is one thing that you'll be doing. And of course, build reports, interpret data, and acquire data. So in data acquisition is part of your work that you'll be doing. Okay, so I think this is the most asked question by a lot of people. What are the skills that you need as a data analyst? And if you have to, start as a data analyst today, what are the top skills? So here also we've ranked the top skills that is needed. Um, Here you can count 8 skills that has been ranked. And these were gotten from LinkedIn posts and job sites that posted about people about jobs open for data analysts. And we kind of looked at all the things that they asked and ranked them through this. So you see that number one for data analysts is Microsoft Excel. So as a matter of fact, if you have knowledge in Excel, you are already equipped enough to be a data analyst. Of course, there are so many other things, but that is the first step. Okay, and this is one of the courses that we are going to take. I'm going to dive deep into it in order to for you as a to dive deep into it and let you know all the things that you need in Excel. One of our faculty members is a very proficient Excel person, and she's going to do justice to that. Okay. In Nigeria, we see that Python programming ranks high, but in other countries like in US and Canada, the second most important skill that you need is Microsoft Power BI. Microsoft Power BI is also a software solution from Microsoft. Excel is a solution from Microsoft. So those two skills are needed as a for you as a data analyst. And the next one here is the SQL. You might have not heard of this before. It's basically a kind of scripting language to manage data. So you can think of Microsoft Excel as your desktop, how you put all the data that you have together. Microsoft Power BI is your visualization, how you present your data to people. And SQL is more like the glue that brings everything together. It brings your data source and feeds your data into your Power BI and your Excel. So we see that this is also very, very important. As a matter of fact, it ranks number 4 in Nigeria. And you see that in other places too now, you see Python programming, R programming. So when you know all this, then programming becomes important. So one question that people ask a lot is, can I be a data analyst without knowing programming? The answer to that is the simple answer to that is yes. You can be a data analyst without being a programmer. However, for if you have knowledge in Python programming, it increases your chances. There are some jobs that exclusively ask for Python programming or R programming. And of course, those jobs are usually pay higher than than the ones that don't have Python programming. So today we actually I'm going to talk more about the programs later, but we want to cover all of these top skills, top 4 skills: Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Power BI, SQL, and Python programming. And so, what are the average salaries for data analysts in Nigeria? The average salary is 2.4 million. So, which means that per month, you at a little bit above. That's a little bit above 120,000 or something like that. So, but this is for a year. This is 2.4 million. Okay. In other countries, data analysis actually earn much more. This is average salary. So understand that this is not the lowest and this is not the highest. This is just average. So you can have higher. And as a matter of fact, once you finish the program, you should be able to earn at least this average salary. Okay. So in Canada it's $49,000 and in the US it's about $62,000 per year. And imagine that you are able to go through this program for 15 weeks, and just immediately afterwards, you are already eligible to change your life, and you are able to earn this much, whether you're whether in Nigeria, whether in Canada, or in US. And nowadays there are so many opportunities, not until when you travel out, you can actually get remote work. And there's a lot of remote work for data analysts nowadays. So even though you're in Nigeria, you are not bound by the salary structure here. You can actually earn salaries that are not local to Nigeria. And when it comes to the job type, so this is one thing to note. Yeah, of course, most of the job are still on location, but we've seen that there's more and more remote works. About 5% of all the job posts in the last few months has been remote work. And there are also intern jobs. So for people who are just getting started, you might want to take an intern job to get uh, to get a brief of experience. But if you're able to go through us, then actually you can get a full job right away. You don't have to actually do an intern job. And so the content for our data analyst program is we have 4 courses. There is an introduction to data analysis. We lay the foundation for you. And we have Excel, which is the most important skill. We have Power BI. We have databases with SQL. And one that is not shown here is the Python programming for data analysis, and which we are also adding from next month. Okay, so what are the things? I've mentioned them: Power BI and database, SQL, Python programming for data analysis. And one more thing that I want to mention is we don't just show you the skills. We also help you to get to that goal that you're looking for. So, for example, you want to get a new job, you want to transition into a new career, we'll help you along the way. We help you to fine tune your resume, and we help you to prospect for new jobs. And we want to help you to get that job after you are done with the program. So, what are the highlights? How do we actually deliver this program? So, the program is delivered 2 hours contact time per week with the students, and we teach you through real life projects which you can use to build your portfolio. And this is the reason I said that after you've done this, after you're done with this, then you actually don't have to do an internship. You are already equipped enough to get an entry level job. And our resources are online, so you can access all the resources, the videos, the video recording of each class. Even this webinar, you have access to it after now. The resources that we share, and all the things that we're sharing during the program, you can have access to them wherever you are for life. And we're also building a community that enables communication and resource sharing. So, like I said before, we want you to be able to relate with the faculty members. So, ask them questions, learn directly from them. Basically, they're able to mentor you into to be just like them, to get what to do exactly what they are doing. So, the community allows you to be able to relate with the faculty members and talk with them. So now I want to introduce the faculty members, and I also have them to speak briefly about the experience as data analysts. So if you have questions, maybe you want to address questions to specific faculty members, please note them down, and you can also put them in the chat. Okay. So first, I will introduce Dr. J. Fregene. She's a d- she's into research, data analysis and strategist, and she's currently in Canada, where she's also a data analyst, and she has almost 10 years of data analyst experience, and this is her daily job. She's she, she works at a company in, I don't want, for disclosure sake, I don't want to mention the way she's working in Canada, but she's employed as a data analyst in Canada. And I'm also introducing Mr. Oluwagbinga Olakoye David. He's also a data analyst and strategist, and he can talk more about his experience, but he has a combined 10 years experience in the industry and plus academics. And this is me. I'm Joshua Oyemi, and I have a research experience, and I'm also currently a machine learning engineer with a company with a startup in Tokyo, Japan. So currently, I'm making this call from Tokyo, Japan. I didn't mention Mr. Oluwagbenga is also in Canada. So I'm in Tokyo, Japan, and I work. My daily job is as a machine learning engineer and research engineer. So the things that I'm going to be teaching you in Python programming, these are the things that I do every day, every single day. So you have first-hand experience with me. And lastly, we're introducing wait, okay, we're introducing Dr. Emmanuel Dansu. Dr. Emmanuel Dansu is a researcher. Is currently a postdoc a visiting researcher at Tohoku University in Japan, and he's also a mathematician. So he's when you talk about the theory of data analysis, this is the person that you want to talk to. And also has almost 10 years experience with data science. So briefly, I will allow them to talk about themselves and want to talk about their experience as data analysts, maybe a bit of how they got started as a data analyst, and what are they going to be teaching in the program. So I'll start with the ladies first. Dr. J, over to you.
I was going to say that don't start with me, but that's fine. So good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, good day. It's Saturday, so I go to church on Saturday, so I would say happy Sabbath. And thank you so much, Dr. Josh. You've spoken and everything you said is correct, accurate, and we can't actually take data out of anything we are doing today. In today's business, we can't take, the same way we can't take money out of anything, we can't take data out of things. So my background is in accounting. I have all my degrees in accounting. And I became a data analyst through, I would say, not really by design, not like I planned it or maybe I saw a vision about it. No. I lectured in Nigeria for a couple of years. And while being a lecturer, I loved anything that has to do with data analysis in academics. So, and the fact that while lecturing, I could play with data, analyze with Excel, do a couple of things, advanced Excel skills, all of that. So I I decided to venture more into that. Leaving Nigeria, and even while in Nigeria, I decided to, branch into that and really learn how to make use of these tools. So presently, I would say that before I got my first job as a data analyst, it wasn't something I really planned. When I read the description, I just felt like, okay, this is something I could do, right? So I tried to, match my resume with, because that's one thing that we're going to be teaching you in this course as well, how to match your resume with any job you want to apply for. Because one thing employers want to see is your ability to reflect that you've done certain things before, even though that wasn't like the major thing you were doing. It's just like communication skills. You were not communicating or actively being in that role as a communicator, but anywhere you have worked, you must have used one of all these skills in the past. So you just have to like target your resume to suit that. At the end of it, at the end of the day, I was called to do a presentation, just show them with this data sets like a prototype and what I could achieve with that. So I did that, and I realized, okay, there's need for to learn Power BI. At that point, I could use Tableau. And I told them that, okay, you want Power BI expert. I I know Tableau very well. I'm not familiar with Power BI, but it's transferable skills. But to my surprise, they actually heard that I'm an expert in Power BI. So that, because while I was being introduced to the team, I just heard, oh, Jay is an expert in Power BI. I was like, that wasn't what I said, but you know how Holy Spirit works. Sorry if you're Muslim. You know how God works. And then, yeah. So, and on the roll, I started learning Power BI, watching videos, and I realized that these skills, this is actually very, very good to have, because Power BI, which is what I will be teaching you, I'm taking you through Power BI and a part of SQL, is actually very good and meaningful in visualization. We're talking about this world is world of data, right? But the data itself will not be meaningful if it's not translated into beautiful pictures, charts, graphs, and all of that. And that's Power BI. Power BI is simply to visualize to, to people that, okay, this is your result. It can be daily, it can be weekly, it depends on what the client wants, but at the end of the day, you want to represent, whatever requirement. If you've been given a task to achieve, you want to represent that with visuals. So that's my part of the I think the fact that I'm a lady amongst the men, it makes sense that I'm handling the visualization part of things, because we women, we are like makeup and all of that. So visualization is makeup, is rubbing the powder on the face and all of that, so that everything will look good. So the world of today, data analyst is much, much, much relevant, needed, useful in any environment, any business. Dr. Josh says he works with health, any sector at all, if it is customer service, if it is, just think about it, any sector, you are very relevant. And if you don't have any background in accounting, in statistics, do not be afraid. You're in the right place, and the fact that you're not learning it on YouTube or by yourself is good, actually very good. There's no way we can actually teach you everything you need to know. At the end of the day, you will still have to like go through all those resources, right? But it is very good for you to have human touch, because when you go for that interview, your job as a data analyst, when you have a particular requirement, you don't even know how to Google it. It's very vague. This is where this community is very good. It's very good for you to have a community that you can easily interact with. You chat with me on WhatsApp, you chat with me, on Slack, anywhere, and then you see Dr. Josh answering you even before I wake up in the morning, because we have different time zones, right? So the community is very, very good for you to have people to rely on. I'm showing you this thing and you've learnt it. You are now practicing on the job. You call me on the job. You have been asked to do this. So Dr. J, how will I do it? What will I do? How, and then we go on, we calm down, we're able to research together. So welcome to Build That. You're in the right place. Thank you. I don't know if that's the right
Thank you so
introduction you
much.
need.
Yeah, I like your comment about visualization being like a makeup. Really, really very very good comment right there. I think someone should tweet that. Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So next I'll invite Mr. Olagwinga to speak.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So my name is Oluwagbenga Olukoyin David. Um, my background is in mathematics, statistics, and biostatistics. And when I start with that introduction, and people goes like, "Do I really need to have a degree in statistics to be a data analyst?" And the simple answer is no. And the reason is this, though it depends on the area where you work, because if you work as a research, there are so many stuff that you need to know about statistics, especially when dealing with data. But mostly if you're working in industry, the basic things you need is the skill, the tools you need um, to do your work regularly, and which is what some of the things that you're going to learn here. If you know, if you have a good background in statistics, it helps, it aids, but it's not a requirement for you to be a data analyst, especially for an entry level. And one of the reasons is this: I've been working with my current employer for the past 3 years, and I I rarely use statistical tools on daily basis. That doesn't mean I don't use them when needed, but most of the things that I do on daily basis is just to generate basic information from data. You're going to have to analyze survey question most of the time. You're going to have to put structures to data. You're going to have to restructure data, and most of those things are things you need just tools to do. And Dr. George said, there is infinitely many opportunities or job roles in data analysis, which is one of the benefits. Another additional advantage is that as a data analyst, you also have that kind of freedom, I would say, because as a data analyst, you don't necessarily have to be in the office 24/7 to work with your data. All you need is your machine and access to your data. For example, myself, I work most of the time from my house. This room here where I'm speaking from is my office. So I only need the access to my data in the office. So I only go to the office if maybe I have a little bit of disturbance at home that I needed some quiet time. That's when I go to the office. So in a week, I most of the time don't even step my office, but I still work from home. So that's another advantage. If you're looking for that flexibility, I think being a data analyst provide you that option. And some of the things that I'll be teaching here is introduction to data analysis, which helps you to understand some of the um, basic background information about a data analyst. What is a data? Who is a data analyst? What is data analysis, and even data itself? Then also understanding the structure of a data, because you need to understand data structure to know how to manipulate it. If you don't know how or the type of a data, you might end up using the wrong visual to represent it, which may make your discussion a tough one when people have a difficult way of understanding what you're trying to share with them. It makes your conversation a little bit difficult. So I'm going to be teaching that background, then gradually move into Excel. And like Dr. Joshua said, Excel is one of the mostly sought after tool, especially in industry. So, like me, initially when I started my job, I have all these fancy statistical analysis that I'm eager to use, all those hard programming scripts that I've developed during my postgraduate years. And I discovered that my first day on job, what they gave me was to just do some data structure, just provide some basic tables in Excel. I'm like, Excel? But if you still want to, if you want to retain your job, if your manager is telling you this is what I want, you better do it. But that doesn't mean I still don't use her when needed, because currently I think there's a job you are trying to work on, which is because Dr. Josh have already said that I work in health sector as well. I work with College of Registered Nurses in Manitoba. So there's this assessment that we're trying to do regarding nurse short workforce in the province, and we needed to we collected a survey questionnaire, and there is so many questions in there, and we needed to reduce that questions into a smaller sub question, which we had to do a little bit of K means clustering, and also maybe exploratory factor analysis to see how we can group some of them together. So in that case, I had to use my fancy R script language to do those, but I don't do those all the time. So what I do most of the time is basically extracting information from data for operational running and for strategic purpose. So, but you might need that. And even in this course, you're going to learn some of those basic tools that you need. And you're going to also discover that Excel is a very good tool. It's not only about using it to enter data in rows and column. You are going to discover that as simple as Excel is, you can even use Excel to develop a dashboard, which is part of the things that we've been teaching for a couple of years now. And our students have developed some very fantastic dashboard. In fact, the last cohort, there was a student that developed a dashboard that was even, I was so impressed that I had to reach out to him that, have you been learning Excel before? And he was like, no, I just watched the video you shared and I tweak it. So it depends on how you can take the information we're going to share with you, how you can work with it. So like Dr. J said, we're not going to be teaching you everything. Myself, I still learn on daily basis because I use Power BI. I still learn Power BI on daily basis. There was a time that I had to that my manager needed something on my report. Like, okay, when last did you update this report? So that he needs to know when was the last day this report was updated. At that point in time, I didn't know how to do that. So I had to research it, and I discovered that, okay, I could add I could add a widget on my report that shows when the report is being updated. So that's one thing about this tool. You need to keep learning. Even as an expert in the field, I still learn on daily basis. I see that I need to use this, and I haven't used it in the time past. So we're not going to be able to teach you everything, but we're going to teach you all you need to get your feet wet and to be able to apply for a job. You don't need to be a group before you apply for any job. My case of landing this job is that even when I saw the job description, I was like, I didn't meet all these criteria, but I just went ahead and apply and put some of the requirements that they needed, and I put it in and I applied for the job. And as God will have it, I was given the job. And I discovered when I came on board, I discovered that most of these organizations don't really know what they need, especially in job description. You see some job description and you're like, this job description is so, I don't have everything. No. But what most of this organization does is that when they need someone to work in a particular role, they reach out to people who already have such roles, which may be different from what they actually need. They they copy the same job description and they put it on their own advert. It's until you submit your resume and come for interview before you really discover that this is what they actually needed, not what was actually on posted. So you don't need to know everything about Power BI. Most of what about Power BI, about R, about all these tools, most of the things you need, you are going to learn it on the job. You are going to learn, and there is so many resources. Just like Dr. J said, there's so many resources out there. But one of the main challenge of those resources is you knowing what you're looking for, so you don't have information overloaded. So, which is one of the benefits of having this network here. You can tailor your question directly, and we can help you to reframe it. This is what you need. This is what, but that you won't get on YouTube. You won't get on all these online courses. So here is an interaction. You get to interact with all the faculty members one-on-one, even off class. There are times I get students sending me WhatsApp message and I respond. If if it requires that we connect via videos, we connect, then we troubleshoot what the problem is, then we move on. So which is also another benefit that you stand to gain. So I wouldn't want to take most of the time. So I just want to hand over here to Dr. Josh back. So if you have any question, you can drop your question or you can ask after everyone have are done with their introduction. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Olwagbenga. Two things that I took away from what you said. One, remote work. That's like life-saving for a lot of people. I remember my last job, I actually got the job during the beginning of the pandemic. So everything that I did, to qualify for the job, the interview, everything was done remotely. I didn't attend any in-person interview. And then when I got the job, I only went there. The first day I went there to collect the computer that I will use for my work and went back home straight. So I just started the job, went to collect the computer and went back home. And from then, since now, I've been working there for almost 3 years now. Maybe I go to work like once a month. Maybe that is just one thing that one benefit you have as a data analyst. You can do everything that you're doing online, and all the tools that you need, you can access it online. And
And that
one thing also that you
sorry,
said that,
that also
yeah,
that sorry, that also remind me
yeah,
that you don't have to limit yourself to taking jobs in Nigeria. Just like Dr. George said, you can be in Nigeria and work for a company outside Nigeria. You can take contracts outside Nigeria. There are so many organizations outside Nigeria that are looking for data analysts, and they don't need you to be on ground to do those jobs. So it's another
mhm.
opportunity that you can explore as a data analyst. So you don't need to limit or to restrict yourself, like Dr. George said, to the 2.4 million naira yearly salary in Nigeria. You can be in Nigeria and even you can negotiate contracts with companies in US, in Canada. There's so many companies that still need data analysts. And one thing is that we don't have so much data analyst professionals to go around. For instance, I work with an organization, I still consult for some other organizations and I still take contract as well. So there's so many job opportunities to go around. Sorry for cutting you, Dr. Josh.
Yeah, no problem. That's very good information. So, without further ado, I want to move to Dr. Emmanuel Danso. I think he can introduce himself and talk more about
Yeah.
his experience.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm Emmanuel Jason Dansu. I think I like to see myself as a mathematician, a teacher, and a researcher. And how data science fits into all this is that, of course, along the line, I remember back in the days we got introduced to all this Microsoft suite, and then Excel became part of it. And I just got really fascinated about that. If I remember my 6 month IT um, is that internship. Well, that's what some people call internship, right? So my 6 month IT, my project defense was basically about using Excel to automate result computation instead of I feel people were still doing a lot of manual computing of results back then. So I took that to the department, and I mean till today we just keep improving on it and all that. And of course, as a mathematician too, by the time we started getting into the core of mathematics, as we're coming across some of those mathematical concepts and everything, we discovered that computing was going to be very important in it. And I think computing, the first thing that looks like programming that I got into was MATLAB. So, and of course, just like Python, MATLAB is such a wide thing. And you can't say if you want to learn MATLAB, the question is, what do you want to use it for? And the Python is exactly like that. So, along the line, I discovered that by the time I got through with my PhD in 2020, I just looked at it that okay, I've used Mathematica, I've used MATLAB, I've used Mathematica, which is another computing tool, and then there was this thing about not having to worry my head about paying for stuff, because for everything out there that you need to pay for, there is something free that can get you almost the same thing. But if you want to operate at the premium, or actually you may have to pay for some. But looking at Python is just there. You can use it for whatever you like, and you don't have to worry your head about paying through paying a fortune for software and everything. So, and that really inspired my interest in Python. And of course, as a mathematician, interestingly, what the background of everything tech you do is actually mathematics, right? And the basic mathematics behind all of these things are things like algebra, calculus, probability, and statistics. So, in the process of interacting with Python and everything, I like to. So maybe a random thought just comes into my head, and I'm like, okay, how do I implement this in Python? In fact, the latest I just did was because of the elections in Nigeria, I just got fascinated. Okay, by the way, my research interest is in the area of population dynamics in epidemiology, in ecology, and even sociology. So I'm interested in how groups behave, how groups behave generally. So I just got interested in looking at all the elections that I've ever held in Nigeria since 1923 till date. So I started getting the data. But of course, Nigeria has this problem about having data about things that really matter. So I had to look all over the place to get the data together. But there was a particular data that was missing. A particular information was missing. I think the number of registered voters in 1964. So I just remembered, oh, in school we're taught interpolation and extrapolation. So I just got on Python and I just quickly checked how can I interpolate, how can I extrapolate, and I got that, and I was able to at least estimate something for that. So I mean, having that math background also actually helps. And of course, ultimately, I'm interested in big data since I'm interested in populations and every other thing like that. Even in ecology itself, like right now, my work is about using a particular database for fish in Japan because fish is very important to Japan. So that's what I'm currently working on. So my part of the course, of course, I'll be since I don't have so much experience in Python like people like Dr. Josh, I'll be introducing it to the fundamentals, and probably once in a while, if there's need to talk about the mathematics behind some of the things you'll be implementing, you'll find me there. So I look forward to a very great time, and I sincerely appreciate uh, my senior faculties allow me to use that for setting the pace. So I'll learn a lot from you guys. Thanks a lot.
Wow, thanks so much, Dr. Danso. Very.
Can I say that I was blown away?
Really? How? Why?
Yeah,
I just really like to hear all of that. Good job.
Wow. Thank you so much.
yeah. So I just want to say something here. So some of you have been hearing Python, and all the there's a noise coming somewhere. Maybe can everybody mute? Yeah. So you might have been hearing like a lot of the um keywords that Dr. Danso is talking about, and you'd be like, you know. But the truth is, there are two sides to this. So we have two offerings for data analysis. So the first offering is the normal data analysis that I don't want to call it it's not a beginner data analysis because you're going deep, but the tools that you are using are totally different. So in the first part of the data analysis program, which Dr. J and Mr. Oluwagbenga is going to take, is going to focus on Microsoft Excel, Power BI, and a bit of SQL. And the second part, which is going to be the programming, um, is going to focus on by Dr. Dansu and me. So just to let you know, um, one is advanced and one is not very advanced. So the advanced one is because you need programming. You need to learn programming. Programming itself is not needed for data analysis, but programming can be very, very beneficial to data analysis. And this is why we have separated these two. So if you are worried about, oh, I don't want to learn programming, I'm not very good with programming, it's okay. The first program is what we've made for you. The second program is for people who have already possibly gone through the first step and wants to actually deepen their maybe advanced, learn the programming side of it. So don't be confused about this. Yeah, and for me, I'm gonna be introducing you into programming and how you can actually use Python program in data analysis. All the things that you have done in Excel, in Power BI, with those software, you can actually do the same thing in Python. So, and the reason why people prefer Python is because it allows you to be able to do much more. You can customize a lot of things. You can actually present the data exactly the way you want it. For Microsoft and Power BI, you are presenting the data the way Microsoft thinks you should be able to present it. Of course, there's some um, customization that are there, and you can do a lot of things there. But the granularity is not as much as when you have a programming language that you can do anything. So, as a matter of fact, with Python, you can actually write a software as powerful as Excel itself. Of course, it will take you a long time. It's not easy, but for data analysis sake, it allows you to be able to present your data, your presentation, your visualization exactly the way you want it. And that is why programming is very important, but it's not necessary. Okay. So we just want to talk a bit here about our previous cohort and some testimonies that we have had. We have had a cohort already, and the second cohort is ending in the next 2 weeks. And we just wanted to let you know that we've had so much positive feedbacks from our past students who are also transitioning into these new areas. They are going into so for example, I know of Tolu who who is on a job, but she's not a data analyst. But in our company, they advertised a data analysis role, and our program has given her a chance to be able to transition, to be able to take advantage of that role. And also Christy, who was post in Nigeria but now has moved to the UK, she has a lot of appreciation for what she was able to learn through our course. So I'm sure that our new course also will have very positive feedbacks. And just to let you know, we are supporting you not just to learn, but to use that skill on your daily job. So it's not about you learn and we'll let you go. No, you learn and we help you to get to job. And even afterwards, you can also, get guidance from the faculty members. And so what would it cost, to do this? Of course, I'm sure um, you'll be interested to know. So I'm showing here for the cost, the investment that you have to do. Just know that this investment is for the next 15 weeks of your life, and it can totally change your um, afterwards when you get a new job or you move into a new career. It's nothing compared to what you'll be getting afterwards. So see this as not as a cost that you have to pay right now, but as an investment that you have to do for yourself in the future. And so the amount that we are charging is 175,000 naira. And actually we have a discount for you if you are able to pay, in the next actually disregard is not the end of today, but by the end of next week. So by this time next week, if you're able to pay the full fee, then you have a 15% discount, which means that you have to only pay 150,000 naira. And we also have 3 times payment plan available. So if you want a payment plan, please send an email. I will send into the chat. but you have to communicate it through an email. So that is how we will do the payment plan. And so we've come to the end of all the talking, and I'm sure that you have some questions. Please, this will be the time to ask your questions. If you have a question, you can raise your hand, uh, or you can type it into chat, or you can, if there is nobody that is asking now, then you can unmute yourself to ask the question. Anybody? Nobody?
Can I ask a question?
Okay.
This question is not directed to Dr. Josh. It's directed to everybody that joined today. What was your first reaction seeing the faculty members? And what's the question that you should have? Like, yeah. Any reaction from anybody? Do you feel you want to be a data analyst and your silence means all is good and everybody now you are going to register for this course and you're starting, you don't have any question, you're not curious about anything? Is that what it means? Can we take it like that? Dr. Josh.
Yeah. Somebody wants to say something.
Somebody wants to say something. Yeah.
Okay. Let me see who's raising their hand. Benga. Benga, please go ahead. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Benga, yes,
we
I think we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. So first of all, greet all the doctor in the houses. But you made mention of the deep analysis. Are we going to be deep also in machine learning experts? So far you said you are a machine learning expert. I'm very, very interested in that machine learning expert. Are we going deeper into machine learning expert as well?
Okay, good question. Sorry, what's your name?
Nuruddin.
Nuruddin. Okay. Sorry, let me just. Okay, so we're taking the advanced data analyst course. You can see I'll send the link into the chat just now so that you can see everything that is in the advanced data analyst course. But let me just answer your question. So there are many stages to it. First, you need to know how to program in Python. This is very, very important. We cannot jump over this step. So we can start teaching you the machine learning today, but all you learn is the theory, and you'll not be able to apply it. You understand? So the Python programming aspect is very, very important. So that is why we are focusing on programming at least the first 8 weeks in this program. In the second program is in Python, introduce you to Python and how to use Python in data analysis. And then afterwards, we'll delve into, but we will not go deeply because the machine learning is actually also very, very wide. Understand? So we'll go into just simple machine learning. You'll be able to use simple machine learning models, have a taste of it, but you will not go. I would say that we are not going deep into machine learning because it's not a machine learning course. It's more of a data analysis. But you can use, because we're using Python, you can easily use machine learning models which are already available, through the packages in Python. Does that answer your question?
I'm really familiar a little bit with Python. Familiar with a little bit of Python, R, SQL. And I could see the combination of you doctor that I saw, especially my doctor Dansu. So that made me join the section that at least I'm going to learn from this doctor that are in the house. That is the cool reason why I joined this section.
Okay.
Thank you very much for. So Josh, can I say something?
Yeah. So please.
Thank you very much for joining, Nuruddin. What I like to tell you is that since you already have that desire, once you get introduced to it And okay, for instance, Dr. Josh told you will introduced to some machine learning things like regression and all that. And by the time you can get the fundamentals, you can go all the way. In fact, you'll be shocked what you can achieve by your own self. Like, and you still have us as a community to guide you through, even as you embark on this journey.
Right. Thank you for that. Okay, so I have some other questions. Some people who have raised their hands. Winga, please go ahead. You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I just want to ask, because I joined late, how many days in the week will the lectures come up, and what time will it actually be? I'm sorry for asking this question. I'm calling from United. I'm joining from United States, and because of the time differences, so that's the
Yeah.
reason. And I actually
Right.
have a job. So I just want to know the time and see how it can fit in to my schedule.
Okay, good. So thank you for asking the question. It's very important because most of the people that we're focusing on are actually people who are already working. So just people like you also. So that means we fix most of the classes are in weekends, Saturdays or Sundays, depending on the availability of the faculty member. Because also faculty members are also working. So just understand that too. So we have 2 hour contact time between you and the faculty member every week. So that is like 2 hours lecture on a Saturday or on a Sunday. So based on the history, let me just tell you, on Saturday we usually have like 10 a.m. West African time or like 2 p.m. West African time. So depending on availability um, of the faculty member, and also we've had to change some time based on the students' request. So if the students come together and say, "Oh, maybe this time is better for us," we've had to change time based on that too. But statutorily, we have it on Saturdays and Sundays, and it's usually around between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and for both days. So if that works for you, then yes.
Okay. Yes, that is fine. And one thing is, will there be a recorded session of every lecture?
Great.
Just
Great
for
question.
let's say I miss a section, will there be a
Right.
recorded version? Yeah.
Okay, so you can see my screen right now. I'm showing you like a cross section of the programs that we have. And like I said, a cohort is currently going on. And these are the courses that are under this cohort. And each class that you attend, it will be recorded. And you can go back and check that class later. So you can see this is a recording from Introduction to Data Analysis, which was done by Mr. Gbenga, and you can see then the class notes are also shared through the uh, through the platform that we are using. So you don't have any problem with missing class or anything. But of course, we want to encourage you to attend the class. But peradventure it happens, then you can always get the recorded class and reference it. And even though if you don't miss class, this is also there for you to go and check later. Maybe after you finish the course, you need, for reference sake, this is always there for you. You can always have access to it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That answers my question because
Okay.
I'm actually since it falls on weekend. At times I work on weekend. I'm a team lead, so I have to be present if now we have to work on weekend. So that's the reason I asked if there is going to be a recorded version of any section. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for the question. And next, let me have. Once you ask your question, you can like lower your hand. Next, I will ask. This is the email. So ekam.akapan. Please go ahead.
Okay. Good
Okay.
afternoon. Good
Yeah.
afternoon, sir.
Good morning from
Good afternoon.
good morning from Nigeria. Someone also
Good
bearing my
afternoon, sir.
email,
Sorry, who is
or
talking? One person at a time.
having my email.
Emmanuel that's speaking.
Good afternoon,
No.
everyone
So
from
I want
Nigeria.
Ekam to speak
Okay,
right
good
now.
day, everyone from here. I'm in Nigeria,
Yeah.
and my
Right.
name is Ekam.
Go ahead.
Okay, my question goes to Dr. Josh. Dr. Josh, you said you're from the pharmaceutical background, right?
Okay.
So I'd like
Can you finish your question?
Okay, so I would like to know how can you really apply machine learning to drug design? Yeah, how do you really apply machine learning to drug design? Can you throw a little light on that? Yeah, because I'm from the
Okay.
pharmaceutical research background. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yes, so I just want to know how one can apply machine learning to that field.
Okay. So to answer your question, I'm getting a feedback. Maybe you have to mute it. Okay. To answer your question, actually, I don't have a pharmaceutical background. I have a background in mechanical engineering. My first degree and second degree in mechanical engineering, but in my PhD, I went into software, which is system information science. So I did a job as a software engineer in my first company. Then in my current company, as a software engineer, but now the company actually changed the focus. Okay, so it was a company that had two departments before. One department is in manufacturing self-driving cars. So that was the department I joined because that was my core area. But after about a year of joining the company, due to industry outlook and everything, they kind of reduced focus on that department and focus more on drug design and drug discovery. So based on that, I started taking projects in drug design, drug discovery. So that's how I got into drug design and drug discovery. It's quite interesting. But to let you know how versatile data analysis, data science, and machine learning is, yeah, I'm now in design and drug discovery, but I'm still using the idea that I have, the theory, the knowledge, or the software engineering knowledge that I have, machine learning ideas that I have. I still use that same concept to solve drug design, drug discovery problems. Now, to answer your question as to how do you use machine learning in drug design, drug discovery, there are so many ways, but I'll mention two ways. One way is you can use a machine learning model to predict the activity of a particular drug. So suppose you want to release a drug into market, and there's so many ways that pharmaceutical companies do this. They synthesize all the drugs and they apply it and they see how it works on the target and they quantify this target. So it's very expensive because usually they don't know which one will work. So they can go through a list of maybe 2,000 drugs over a period of 5 years. But what if you can use a machine learning model that can go through millions and millions of molecules and predict the activity of those molecules with some certain accuracy. So it means that you can save time and you can save cost. So that is one way. The second way, which is very interesting to me, is actually you can use some machine learning models to generate new drugs. So for people who are not in this area, this might not be very interesting, but maybe she will understand. Drugs are represented in what they call smile strings. It's just like words, like A, B, C, D, and things like that. So if you have seen a molecular formula, it's just alphabets and with some symbols to represent a dot. So you can use a model to actually generate these alphabets.
sequence.
And that is, yeah, this sequence. Yeah, exactly. This sequence. So this is another way. This is a generative way of drug discovery. So I'm working in these two areas, and these are the things that I do currently.
All right, thank you, Dr. Josh.
All right.
Sir.
So
Um,
next, sorry, I have people who are raising their hands. If you want to speak, please. I would advise that you raise your hand so I would know to call you next. So please, Yemi, go. You can go now. Yemi, are you
Good
there?
morning, yeah, I'm here. Good morning, Dr. Josh.
Yeah.
I joined the session late, and I want to ask if I know it's recorded, if it can be provided or sent to us via email, and if no, when will the next session be starting? The next a webinar like this, when will the next one be holding so I can join again? I think due to the time difference, I miscalculated and by 1 hour, and I missed out on the essentials of this webinar.
Okay. So yes, the webinar is recorded and is still currently recording. We'll send it to you after almost immediately, maybe latest by tomorrow. You get it back. You understand? You get the replay, so you can watch the replay. And if you're asking about webinar, we will do this webinar again in maybe 2 months' time, mainly because we are doing this as a precursor to starting the program. So if you are interested in starting the program, the program is actually starting in 2 weeks' time. So, and I've sent the links to the chats. Please check them if you are interested. Then now I'll call Namdu, please.
okay. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
I'm Emmanuel Madu. I stay in Nigeria. Okay. Actually,
Okay.
I came late for the webinar. So most of the things that was discussed here, I didn't really get them. I only got a few things from what was said.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually interested in the data analytics. That was why I came for the webinar. I registered for the webinar. So me now as a nursing student, because I'm a nursing student now, me as a nursing student, how does data analysis helps me? Like after graduating from university, how does nursing analytics like push me forward to the workforce, or is it marketing field or what?
All right. I have the right person to answer your question, Mr. Gwenga.
Okay, sir.
Hello. Now, Mandu Emmanuel. Good to know that
Yeah,
you're a
yeah.
nursing student. So, like we've said earlier, there is data in everything you do. So even
Mm.
when you care for your clients, all those informations are in form of data. So, like I said when I was doing my introduction, I currently work with College of Registered Nursing here in Canada. I'm not a nurse though, but there is data that is being generated by every registered nurse that we have in the province, and we need those data to be able to help them in such a way that they could practice efficiently without being a threat to, or being a security threat, let me say, to the public. So we check their competency. So there's what we call clinical competency assessment that we do regularly. We do it at the port of coming in. Then we also do it when you come on board. There's entry level clinical competence assessment that we do. Then there's one that we do when you're on board. So all these are data. So data is, there's no way you won't generate data in everywhere you go. And as a data analyst, it gives you an added advantage. So it's like you're having additional skill to your nursing skill. So I work with a lot of nurses that are not really practicing on the field. We work together in that environment as a regulatory body. They are not taking care of patients, but they are really working in that field. And what makes them to be able to work in that field was their additional skill that they had. So as a nursing, you already have the skill of taking care of your patient, but you can take that step a little bit forward by having this data analysis skill to your set of skill. And even within your organization, you become very valuable. You know, there are data that's being generated in the hospital on daily basis that even your hospital or your, I don't know how the hierarchy of seniority is in your organization. Maybe your supervisor or your manager does not even know how to harness it. So for you to be able to turn that data into information that can be used to improve the caring system or the process of maybe admitting clients, discharging, administering drug, or all those stuff will be very handy for you. So you don't have to limit yourself. And one thing I will advise you to start from is to look at data that you collect within your organization on regular basis that they don't currently use for anything. So there's data they collect, at least for instance, let's start with number of patients that you collect on daily basis, number of available beds on daily basis, number of types of treatment that is being done on daily basis. Those are the things that you can start with. You can say, okay, how can I make use of this data? That makes you looking at those problems. We push you to find solution that makes you valuable to your team and to the organization. And most of those things are things that most of how you can work on those data are things that you will learn here. So I want to believe I've answered your question, but if you still need more clarification, you can reach out.
Okay, okay. I have understood where you're driving to. Understood it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks for your question, Madhu. I have a YN raising hands. Please, can you ask your question? YN, waiting for you to ask your question.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, go ahead. We can hear you.
Good afternoon. My name is Enwine from Nigeria. So I just started my career as a data analyst, though I study electrical
Okay.
electronics engineering. So I want to first appreciate our faculty members. Thanks for this great exposition. Please, I want to ask regarding my question, the payment plan, the
Okay.
not for the instant payment like that of the past payment. So I want to know
Yeah.
the plan the plan that you guys have for us that I'll be opting into that particular plan. So how is the payment going to be made? At what
Okay.
time? And so
Yeah.
other one I want to also ask is although because when I joined initially I was one having issue with my audio, so I have to work on a lot of things. I was not given that permission initially when I joined, so I have to quickly work on it. So I would love to know the duration of the class. I didn't really get that because of
Okay.
this
Good.
section.
All right. So let me answer the easy ones first. The duration of the class is for the normal data analyst program is 15 weeks, and for the advanced data analyst program is 12 weeks. Okay. For the normal data analyst program, the payment plan is 3 times payment plan. I want to see if I can show you this. So you can see all the the details on our platform. Actually, you can see the details when this is going to run from, when it's going to start, and when it's going to end. So this one costs 175, but if you are able to pay lump sum right now, you can get the discount of 15%. But if you're doing a payment plan, we have to split it up into three, and you pay. So the program runs for 15 weeks, right? So that's a roughly 3 months. So you pay the first installment when you start, and second installment the next month, and the third installment the next month. So just like that. And the same thing for the advanced data analyst program. You pay just like that. It's going to be split into three equal parts. So, but there is no discount for the payment plan. So just to know that if you are taking the payment plan, there's no discount. And you have to send an email, because that way we'll send you the company's account where you pay to. You don't pay to a personal account of anybody. But if you're actually paying a lump sum, you can pay directly from the app. So, like if I open this in, it gives you a chance to pay directly from the app, and it's the payment is handled by Paystack, so it's secured. So don't worry about maybe somebody taking your money or something like that. Okay, and you can always chat with you can always send an email to info@bdot.com if you have any question. Somebody said I need the course content. Please check the links that I posted before. I'm going to post them again, but check the link. The details, all those details are there in the links. So I'll post the link again just to make sure. So this is the detail. This is the link for the, I just posted in the chat now, for the advanced data analyst program. And for the advanced data analyst program, I'm going to post the link. You can check all the details, the number of weeks, the course content, everything is there, and the date of starting and each courses is also there. Please check it. So I'm not sure if anybody has a question. Again, if you have a question, nobody's raising their hand, so probably you can ask freely. And if nobody is asking, I would ask my faculty members if they have any extra things to chip in, 1 or 2 minutes, and then we can end. Anything
Yeah.
from any?
Yeah. This is
Yeah.
Benga. So I want to first of all say thank you for putting this together, and to also pay my due respect to my professor EJD. So EJD is my colleague and my professor. We actually went to school together. So just want to say thank you here publicly for how you've helped us through school back in those days. And also I want to make reference to some of the questions that was asked on the chat. So there's someone who asks about data analysis and data science, and I've actually provided some information there. And I just want to quickly link that to the information you provided to the lady who asks about pharmacies. So the deliverables for data analysis and data science is quite different, and the requirement for you to work in those two is quite different. So you can see data analysis as the first step to getting to becoming a data science, because with data science there's a lot of mathematical and statistical theory that goes into some of the models that Dr. Josh talked about. You can't just start fitting models. There are so many background information that goes inside, and most of that are expressed in mathematical form, like Dr. Igedi said. And you need to understand in what environment, in what form you can apply most of those mathematical model. We have some that
We
are
lost you, Mr.
designed
Gwinger.
for. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you now.
So, like I said, most of those models are designed for specific purpose, for specific data type. there's some of them that are appropriate for use when your data are categorical. There are some that are appropriate for use when your data are not categorical. So you need to all have this understanding of how these models are deployed. And the deliverables you have as a data scientist is different from that deliverable that you provide as a data analyst. Data analyst, your basic deliverable might just be a report, just using already existing tool. But in data science, as a data scientist, you might require to develop applications that are data driven. So it might be okay. You after fitting your model, you want to turn it into a finished product, because you don't expect everybody that wants to use it to start coding their data or coding their data into that. You be the one to do that back end, then present it in a front end, which is easily usable by so many people. So the deliverables in those two are quite different, and the requirement also is quite different. You can't become a data scientist without even having a basic understanding of data analysis. You need to have that basic understanding before you can start, okay, you want to take this a step further. And that's when you go into proper advanced coding, where you use either Python or you use R to do all those. So you just want to put that out there for that person who asked the question, because I have limited typing speed, so I couldn't type all those into the chat.
Thank you so much for chipping that in. Very, very important. Okay, any other person? Dr. J, Dr. Emmanuel?
Yes,
Any-
I think it would be necessary to clarify between the advanced data science program and the data analytics analyst program. Is it this? Is each one the same 175,000 naira, or it's
no, no,
one
no. Okay.
or a continuum? I think that clarification is very important.
Okay, okay, good. Please, thank you for that. I'm going to open two windows side by side, just to compare both. Product manager. Okay, so here you have the data analyst program. So the advanced data analyst program is $120,000. Oh, sorry, not dollars, no, Nigerian naira. And
So
the data
interesting.
analyst program is 150,000 naira. So they are different based on the, cost content and the duration. And you can see here the details. The details are all shown here. For advanced data analysis, you can see all the details here, the weeks. The courses have not been added fully, but here that is because this is going to be the first cohort. Here we already have two cohorts, so you can see like previous courses. If you register early, you can actually access the courses that have been taught to previous cohorts, and you can see all the details. So, for example, this is the course for introduction to data analysis and Power BI and SQL. And you also, when your own time comes, you also get to see to get the recording of your own class. So this program right now is accessible to all the people that I have registered in the past, and they can always get updated information. If anything changes, they get the updated information. So we are not just paying for the current program now, you're paying for the program and all the future changes that will happen in the program in the future. So that is just one thing that we are offering, and that is why we're using the platform, make it very easy for you to do this.
Sorry,
Yeah.
another part would be: is it can all people only register for the advanced data science program after they've been through the data analytics program? I think it's also cool to clarify.
Yeah. So just to note that advanced data analysis program is for people who are interested in using Python, and you actually don't need to do the data analysis program before going to advanced data analysis program, but you would benefit if you do that, but it's not necessary. So even if you only do the data analysis program, you don't have to go to the advanced data analysis program. So they are both independent. but because they have different tools. So basically the tools that they're focusing on they are different. Here we're focusing on Python programming as the major tool for data analysis. Here we're focusing on Excel, Power BI as a tool for data analysis. So that is the big difference between the two. And you don't have to have one before the other, but one is just more advanced because you need programming knowledge. That's just the difference. So I think that should answer everything, right?
Yes, please. That's great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. If there are no more questions, we'll end the meeting here. Stay tuned. You will get the recording in your email in the next 1 or 2 days, and you can also check some of you that attended started late. You can view the beginning of the webinar, and if you have questions, please note that you can always send an email to info@bidot.com. And maybe you came through Facebook. You can also chat with us on Facebook. You always get somebody to reply to you directly. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Dr. J. Thank you, Mr. Gwenga. Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel. Really appreciate your time. And we're signing out. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.